Uranus, scientists knew practically nothing about the seventh planet, except that it was big, 4 times as big as the Earth, and a long way away, 2,000 million miles. Now, as Voyager approaches Uranus, information about the secret planet is flooding back to the NASA Mission Control in Pasadena. And already the scientists there have made important discoveries about the planet that's had them baffled for hundreds of years, like 7 newly discovered moons orbiting the planet, in addition to the 5 they already knew about, which are themselves being photographed more closely than ever before. And now the scientists say they found 2 more moons, only 10 miles across and mysteriously lying on either side of the outermost of the 9 rings around the planet.
The rings which surround Uranus are incredibly narrow, and the only way you can actually get a ring to be that narrow is to have a pair of what are called shepherding satellites either side of it. And what they do is they work a bit like a pair of sheepdogs, and they nose the little particles that make up the ring into these very, very narrow bands by the gravity that they exert.
These pictures of Uranus itself reveal for the first time that the planet has clouds. The white patch towards the top on the right is in fact a cloud, probably composed of frozen methane or ammonia.
Now this cloud is probably about the size of the Earth. It's probably about 8,000 miles across. It's obviously a very high level cloud. Not sure what it's made of yet because it hasn't actually been analysed. But it's very exciting to be the first cloud ever seen. It's the first detail we've seen on Uranus at all, apart from a bit of smog at the poles. And what is exciting about it is if you follow the cloud around the planet, it'll be able to give us an accurate estimate of how fast Uranus is actually spinning, because quite honestly, we don't know. At the moment, the estimates range from between sort of 15 hours to 17 hours, and unless this cloud is being buffeted about by very, very high velocity winds, it will, as it drifts around the planet, give you an idea of just how long Uranus's day is.
Tomorrow, at about this time, Voyager will make its closest approach to Uranus, passing within 50,000 miles. After that, it will look closely at the planet's 9 strangely dark rings, backlit by the sun. To scientists, the information it sends back to Earth will be as precious as gold.
I suspect what you're going to find is more of those little shepherding satellites going around the other rings, because there are something like 9 very, very narrow rings going around Uranus, and each of those will have to be confined by something. So, sticking my neck right out, probably Uranus might have a total of something like 30 moons going around it.
Voyager 2 has already given scientists these stunning pictures of Saturn and its rings, and has also visited Jupiter. After Uranus, it will fly past Neptune in 1989.
And here on Earth, after Mrs. Thatcher's leak statement, more than half the speakers at a packed meeting
observe Halley's Comet, launch a satellite, and she'll teach 2 lessons to her school from space. Dan Molina of NBC News reports.
Christa McAuliffe looks every inch an astronaut these days, and her crewmates treat her like one of the gang. This was a little trek up to break the sound barrier with Dick Scobie, her mission commander.
They could have very easily said, oh, you know, there's a teacher, what are we going to do with her? She's going to get in the way, or we've got to plan things around her. If I needed help during the lessons, if I needed an extra pair of hands. I mean, they've just been so wonderful. I really do feel part of the crew.
For several months now, doctors have been jabbing and probing her, zipping her up in black bags to see if small dark places scare her. She's gone through all sorts of training in shuttle simulators, and she's learned a few cold, hard facts about what to expect.
I didn't realize it'd be so slippery.
The shuttle's small. And if you kind of think of it as being in maybe a 6-man tent with 7 people in it, and it rains for 6 days, that's the environment that you're in.